you can't fix a car if you don't know what's wrong with it. So to fix your OCD, or shall I say, control it, you have to know what you're dealing with and how it works and what are the mechanisms around it, what it feeds onto, and what it hates. Therapy is really the way to go.
Welcome to OCD Whisperer Podcast. Today with me, I have a special guest, Hussain, who's the founder of The Struggling Warrior, a platform dedicated to educating and raising awareness about OCD through personal experiences, in-depth resources, and professional insights. With over a decade of lived experience with OCD, he has been featured in leading mental health platforms like IOCDF, ADAA, and NoCD. Hussain is also the author of Listen Up, OCD is Talking. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to be on.
Yeah, I wanted to have you on here and really have folks who are going to be watching or listening learn a little bit about your story and experience with OCD. So if you don't mind, let's just dive right into, you said it's been about a decade. So how did this whole thing start about? What was going on that even clued you into that something's not quite right?
Sure. So it all started way back. Like I was 8 years, so I'm 28 now. So it really started 20 years ago. One day out of the blue, I was doing my Islamic homework. While struggling with doing it, I had like a thought that popped up. It's like, for example, what if God doesn't exist? Or like blasphemous thoughts about God or other religious figures. So at that point, I was 8 years old, so I really didn't know what was happening. But I felt it. It's like I felt the guilt. I felt the heart pumping. I remember I rushed to the bathroom to wash my face because I felt hot as heck with all the sweating. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and it happened again. I really didn't think much of it, but as soon as I got older, I started to realize that wait a minute, this is not natural. Because as you know, I'm a Muslim, and we pray 5 times a day. So I started to pray and pray and pray. I would read all my prayers. I would spend hours a day praying. Like most people are finished in 10 minutes, and I'm like an hour 50 into it. Like this is not normal. As I grew up and responsibilities grew too, also did the intrusive thoughts. They tend to change, as I know now, but at that time I really didn't know what was happening. I remember vividly around sixth grade. I'd say I was maybe 11 years old. I had like a mental image of me writing blasphemous thoughts about certain people in my class on the desk. And I was really fascinated because at that time I knew it wasn't me. I wouldn't do anything like that. I really wouldn't curse. I still do not, by the way, but in that moment I began to engage in my first compulsive activities. I began to scan the desk. Like, did I write it here? Was it under the desk? Was it to the side? I really didn't think much of it, but I knew it was like, this was not normal. I felt the guilt. I'd say this is the first time that it really began to really interfere with my life. Um, for example, if I had any questions, I wouldn't indulge in questions in class. I would be just a shy kid. Um, so as I grew older and responsibilities grew with me, so did the OCD. Um, so I'd say around college. So just to put this into context, I took the macho man route that I can handle this on my own. It's like I won't talk about this with anyone. This is my own problem to solve on my own, basically. So as I was in college, um, I went into electrical engineering. Lucky me. So you mix up the engineering, the stress of the engineering stuff, and the stress of the OCD itself. Um, I'd say around this time I hit rock bottom. I couldn't function. I was basically bedridden.
Mm.
The intrusive thoughts were all around. From waking up to taking a shower to driving, hoping that I don't bump into anyone. And if I did, like I checked and rechecked over and over again. Um, I had to miss countless classes, countless labs. My grades were degraded um, immensely. Um, I'd say I was a good student, but with the OCD, I couldn't function at all. So I think one semester I failed most of my classes, and I really didn't know what to do. Like this was the lowest I could get with my OCD.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I stopped that summer. I stopped all of my courses for one semester. And as I said, I took the macho man route, and I just stayed in bed for 4 months, not talking to anyone, dealing with my demons on my own. I would rarely get out of the house, let alone my bedroom. I was in a really dark place. During that period, my OCD was really up and down. Some days it wasn't so intense, others it was too intense. And at that point, I still wasn't 100% sure what was wrong with me. I thought that I was an anxious person that had these random thoughts. So, as the days went by, and the full 4 month period that I took off finally finished, and I went back to school, pretending that everything is fine, I realized that no, I couldn't function as a normal human being. Funny enough, the thoughts became more aggressive. OCD was at that time, it was at the prime years of my OCD experience. I couldn't even talk to my doctors, talk to my classmates without like being weird. Group chats were horrific. I was scared of maybe sending something inappropriate. Um,
Yeah, OCD
Even
can
so,
really take a big hold, to be honest. And I mean, it sounds like
yeah,
you're describing this really progressive process.
yes,
And, the more
exactly.
you talk to people who have OCD, that's what you hear very commonly. People commonly starts with something that seems like, okay, maybe strange, I don't know. And then it just grows and grows. Um, and so as things got really worse and you realize, I don't know if I can do this on my own, when was there a pivot? When was there a moment? Like, what did you do about that? How did you kind of, I guess, work towards coming out of that process? What did you do?
Up, up until that point, no one really knew that I was struggling this much. Um, one of the coping mechanisms that I developed is that I began to pretend to be this happy-go-lucky guy, where in fact I was not. So one day, I got an email from my university is that you don't have enough credits and that most of um, they basically told me that you don't have enough time to graduate um, as per the academic plan. So unfortunately, we're gonna basically kick you out.
Hmm.
So I really don't know how to describe that feeling, Christina, but literally everything went dark from there. Like I could go out, I could see the sun, but I wouldn't feel the heat of the sun.
Hmm.
Um, Up until that point, I had to tell my father at that time. I told him, look, um, this happened. I have been having weird thoughts, and I don't think that I could function as a normal human being anymore. My life has been ruined, and I basically just got kicked out of university.
Hmm.
And I don't want, I guess engineering is not written for me.
And how did that go?
Uh, and he was devastated too. He was shocked. He was devastated. Um, and from that point on, I felt like I wasn't. Although they didn't know what was exactly wrong with me, but I felt that I had a support system around me. It's like I wasn't alone on an island.
Hmm.
So one day, my mother came. She was looking for me, and I was crying on the bed. Yeah, I couldn't take it anymore. So the moment she saw me like that, she was like, "Okay, we have to go to therapy." And mind you, at that time, I was really against therapy
Hmm.
because of the stigma, the medicine, what type of medicine, what are the side effects.
Right.
So I was really against it. I
Mhm.
knew that there was therapy, but I was really against it. But no, she held her ground, to be honest. And she said, I won't ever forget this. She said, go get dressed. We have an appointment at 3 at the same day. And I really didn't know what was happening around me because I was really in my mind. Like I was really in my mind ruminating about stuff that didn't happen
Mhm.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
What if I did that and that triggered that and that idea triggered this? So I was all around.
Mhm.
So I went like basically she forced me and dragged me out of bed. It was that bad. Um, as soon as I went there, I was really emotional. I didn't want to talk about it. But the thing is that where I'm from, the especially in the mental health field, we are so lacking behind
Mm.
in in how we approach patients and how we dissect and diagnose mental health problems. So it was basically where I'm from. It's basically like it's either you got schizophrenia or you don't. So it's white or black. So there's
Yeah.
no in between. There's no gray area.
That resonates a lot
Um,
because I'm from Ukraine originally, and to be honest, that's a similar issue. It's either you are completely like having schizophrenia or you can be an alcoholic for us.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's kind of it. It's like there's nothing else that could be happening, no other potentiality. So there's a lot
exactly.
of stigma and shame. It's getting better now, but yeah.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, exactly. I can really feel you on that one. He didn't say that it was anything else. He didn't even say what kind of like what was my problem. Like he was, oh, okay, just take these pills, and I'll see you in 3 months, and that was it. At first, I was really energetic and excited. Like finally, I'm gonna get my pre-OCD self back.
Hmm.
But that didn't happen because, okay, the SSRIs were provided, but how would I deal with the day-to-day things? It's like I didn't have enough tools to deal with that stuff. And surprisingly enough, during that that 3 month time period, my OCD began to shift and change. So, for example, if I had religious intrusive thoughts, they changed to harm intrusive thoughts. I really didn't have much mental imagery, but during that period, the mental imagery was unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I know that this is a bump in the road. I know it. I've been on this road thousands of times. But it's like in my mind, I just killed the person. I just ran over him.
Yeah.
And the more I checked and rechecked, it became worse. So I went back to him. I told him that I've been dealing with this. My OCD has changed. Remember, at that time, I didn't know I had OCD. I had an issue, but what type of issue I didn't know, and he didn't elaborate. So he gave me another type of medication and told me just come in 3 months' time. The same thing happened. I remember at that time I gained a lot of weight because the type of medication he gave me, it made me eat anything and everything that I
Yeah,
could.
those lovely side effects.
Exactly. So I went by. The 3 months one finished. I told him the same thing. Um, he gave me another batch of new medication, and he was like, "Okay, see me in 4 months." And I was like, "Okay, I'm done. Bye bye."
Yeah, it was like a third time.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was. He was like trying stuff on me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Maybe he was. Later on, I found out that he was like the one of the old school, um, thinking processes. Is like he was so rigid. He didn't give and take.
Mm.
So he was dealing with like a mathematical problem.
Mhm.
Like it's 1 + 1 is equals to 2. And I really didn't feel any type of connection towards him. So around that time, I was really devastated. And as my stress levels grew, my OCD also grew as well, as now I know. And I really remember one day I was talking to my mother, and I told her, like, I tried the therapy thing. It didn't work out. I really don't want to do it again. And no, she was like, no, we're going to do this again, and we're going to find out what is happening. So one day we go to this new therapist, and he was like, the difference between him and the old one was night and day.
Hmm.
The first thing that I remember when he saw me, he just gave me a huge hug. He was like, he embraced me. Like, hey, your mother told me of the things that you have been experiencing. And I think that you have OCD. It's not as severe as you think it is, but it's up there. And I'm gonna need you to do some kind of ERP, and with a combination of medication. And he really he the way he interacted me was like a father and son relationship, which really made me comfortable with him. I remember we would talk for hours, and
Well, it also sounds like he understood the problem, and finding
exactly,
a person, because that's really what makes this difference. What I'm hearing is like, oh my gosh, this person is getting it and
yes,
speaking the
yes,
language and is able
exactly,
to say, oh, this is what this is. So I can start to wrap my mind around what this thing
yeah,
is called, how this thing works. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Oh, there's actually something I can do. Oh, this
yeah,
can get better. Right? It's like
yeah,
a whole new world opens up.
yeah, yeah. He told me this sentence that I don't think that I'll ever forget. He told me that what you are experiencing is called OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder, and it's also known as the doubting disorder. So as soon as I heard that, it's like a light bulb just went on, and I was like, man, it really makes sense now.
Yeah.
Everything started to make sense. Um, uh, I really believed in him. I joined the ERP sessions. They were really awesome, but tough at first. And with the medication, I started to regain my confidence back. Um, Slowly, I began to know, like, what am I dealing with.
Hmm.
Um, I started at first. It was a large dose, but we gradually reduced it. And to be honest, I'm still on medication, and I don't think I'll ever get off of it, because why would I? Yeah, why would I?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing with this journey, right? As every person, especially if you're working with a good provider, you get to make that decision with where you are, right?
Yeah,
Like there's no hard and fast rule, and science does show that some people get better with just medication, some people with just doing CBT, and some with a combination. So
yeah,
I think it's important to have some individualized processes, right? Because you want to meet the person where they are. And now, based on everything you're doing and all the things you've learned, I mean, you also, turned around, and I think it's pretty awesome when I see and hear people take their experience and do something with it, right? Like creating that platform you've created, creating a book, right? Listen up, OCD's talking. I mean, First of all, what a great title. Um,
Thank you so much.
yeah, but like let's switch gears into that for a moment, which
Yeah.
is let's talk a little bit about that book and what is your goal with that book for people? So what would you like them to be able to, or what can they expect to get out of that book?
Okay. So the idea was that I really didn't want to create something that was already in the market. It's like I didn't want to create a textbook type of book. I really, I think of myself as a creative person, of course, because with all the OCD and the creative ideas that I've experienced. Uh, so I had this idea of what if I created a book like an interview? It's like I personalize the disease, which is OCD, and it speaks to the reader. For example, it will tell the reader like, "Hey, um, I dwell on. For example, I dwell on specific tendencies. I dwell on, for example, I hate ERP. ERP really weakens my control over you. Like it's like a back and
Mhm.
forth with interview with OCD,
Mm.
telling you its tricks, how it really um, plays with your mind, plays with your psyche, and I really believe in it. People have bought it. They have. I was really proud when someone actually bought the book and was impacted by it.
Of course.
It was one of the best experiences I've ever had, and I'm starting to get more into the creating digital products and having them on the website. I also have a workbook. It's called Unbound the OCD Toolkit. It's a set of 8 worksheets that I personally did in therapy, all based on ERP and CBT. And I truly believe that even if someone is against going to therapy and wants to do the take the therapeutic route on his own, these worksheets and the book um, really set the foundation for understanding the disorder. Because the whole premises of all of this is that you can't fix a car if you don't know what's wrong with it. So to fix your OCD, or shall I say, control it, you have to know what you're dealing with and how it works and what are the mechanisms around it, what it feeds onto, and what it hates, which is really therapy is really the way to go. So mix everything with that and the abundant resources online. I was really funny enough. I was obsessed. I was obsessed with knowing what was OCD. So, and I tell that to my family and friends all the time. I became obsessed with the obsessive. That
Yes, I seek to now understand it 1,000
yeah,
times better than the way, quote
yes,
unquote, it understood me.
yes,
I
exactly,
love it.
exactly,
But I love what it led to,
exactly.
right? It led to you creating something that is taking your entire experience, putting it into this format where you can deliver it to the general public. And it is an incredible feeling when you can take something like that and put it in the world and that it actually is having some impact. I mean, I don't think there's anything
Yeah,
more wonderful than when you really see that. It feels good. It does.
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
and with that, I am gonna kind of ask, because we're pretty much at the end here. So if people are listening, they're like, oh my gosh, I want to check that book out. I want to go get it, or I want to reach out to you or find you. So where can they find you?
They can find me on my website, so www.com, thestrugglingwarrior.com,
Mm-hmm.
and on Instagram. I'm sure you're gonna put it.
Oh yes, everything will be in the show notes. But I just always like guests to kind of reference it, or in case there's anything else. But absolutely, the Struggling Warrior is the handle title for your Instagram.
Yeah.
It is your website, and so folks can go on your website and find the book, the workbook, and everything else.
They could also contact me. I have a contact page, and it's anonymous. It's like you don't have to. Like, we don't have to talk face to face, or even know your real name. Just hit me up, and I tend to respond to every message I get, and it's really wonderful knowing that I really recycled all of that in a good way to help others all around the world.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if I could do it, then then anyone in the world could trust and believe that.
Yeah, it's a great message of hope, right? It's like, hey, look, I've went through an extremely difficult time, and you can do it too. And I love that. So I want to thank you so much for your time, for coming on the show, and for sharing your story. I mean, it's always vulnerable when we open up a little bit, but I really appreciate it, and I know the audience will too.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Kristina. The pleasure was all mine.